Hello everybody and welcome to Magny-Cours, which this weekend hosts the 6th of the 7 meetings of the season in the VDV Endurance Series. On the menu, endurance racing of course, with the 6 hours for the Protos, 4 hours for the GT3 and LMP3s, the return of the historic cars and the VHC, but also sprints with the single-seater challenge and the Funyos. And for those series, it was the last round of the year. And where better to host the grand finale of the Funyo 2016 season than the Magny-Cours circuit, which hosted F1 for 17 years. A 4.41 kilometre long track, quick and technical, and we can now look at it in greater detail. Located 14 kilometres southeast of Nevers, the Magny-Cours circuit was created in 1959. Initially a karting track, it was expanded in 61 to become a 2 kilometre long car track. That's how it stayed until 86, when the Nièvre Council bought the circuit and turned it into an F1 venue. From 91, it hosted 18 Grand Prix, using corners already present elsewhere in F1, hence the Estoril turn, the Adelaide hairpin and the Nürburgring chicane. This very technical circuit also hosted World Sports Car Championships, Superbikes, the Bol d'Or and the French Championship GT. The ideal venue then for the grand finale of the Funyo 2016, at least in the F5 category. In the SP05s, once the 2 worst results had been discarded, the challenge leader Romain Houillet arrived here knowing he'd be crowned whatever the results, and just as well for last season's runners-up, as he was only 3rd on the grid for race 1, just behind his big rivals Jean Kelly and Alain Boulin, on pole for the 2nd meeting running. The pole-sitter kept his lead in race 1 for his first win of the year in front of Edouard Herry, Jean Kelly and Romain Houillet. Enough to give ideas to Edouard Herry. As others abandoned, the driver of the number 8 collected not only his first win of 2016 but also his first double, as he followed up with another in race 3. That was the only race which saw the 2016 champion and winner of 12 of the 18 races, Romain Houillet, get onto the podium.
The
title was won in Mugello. A great year because we won nearly everything. I say nearly everything. The final weekend of the season was very tough, but we fought hard and we enjoyed it. So it's been a very good year. More suspense in the F5s, where discarding results meant Cyril Denis still had every chance of depriving Cédric Gardin of the title at this final meeting, as long as he had a perfect weekend. It started well for the 72 driver as he scored pole in his category, while the category leader was only 9th in his class. The joy didn't last long as he made a mistake on the opening lap of the first race, which compromised his chances of scoring big points in the grand finale. Cédric Gardin just needed to keep on the track in order to get the title, and he did that perfectly, getting 4ths in each of the first 2 races, both of them won by newcomer Jan Berger in front of Alexandre Barbier. Plenty for Gardin to secure the title and to go into the final round in a super relaxed frame of mind. He finished it in 8th place, well behind Alexandre Barbier, the last Funyo 2016 winner, this time in front of Jan Berger. It went down to the last day, so it was intense. It's true that I wasn't at it at the last race as I'd already secured the title. There we have it. A great year and I can change category next year. In the single-seaters, if he couldn't mathematically secure the title in this penultimate round, the solid overall leader, Alexander Peroni, could take a decisive step towards it. And the Australian didn't pass it up, scoring a 100% record over the weekend. Poles in all 3 races, wins in all 3 races. The TS Corse driver only left crumbs for his rivals, leaving Magny-Cours with a 155-point lead over Gilles Leriot, and only 180 will be up for grabs at Estoril. Utter domination, even if the excellent Grégoire Saucy did his damnedest to make it otherwise. So at ease at Magny-Cours, the GSK Grand Prix driver was the only one to live with Peroni's pace. He scored 3 fine second places in a row, his first podiums of the season. Note too the wonderful displays from Thomas Neubauer, a brilliant 3rd in race 1 before making a mistake in race 2, ruining the rest of his weekend. And the Ukrainian Alexei Chuklin made the most of that. Ultra consistent, the RC Formula driver climbed onto the third step of the podium in races 2 and 3. In the gentleman category, there was dominance from the poleman Le Breton as he won all 3 races, each time holding off Humi, who finished second every time. Those performances allowed Le Breton to overtake Humi in the standings, so that he's now under 30 points behind Italian Pietro Peccanini, who still leads thanks to his 3 places in the Nieve. The title will be decided at the grand finale in Estoril.
Voilà donc pour les courses sprint.
Well, that's it for the sprint races here, but of course the VDV Endurance Series is, as the name suggests, about endurance. And the historic vehicles are back here at Magny-Cours, among them the superb GT40, owned by Alain Bazard. Alain, we'd like you to talk us through your car right now.
GT40 propriété d'Alain Bazard. Alors Alain, justement, présentez-nous tout de suite votre bolide.
Oh, it's a Ford GT40 based on the 1966 with all the specs of the 66. The big brakes, 4 pistons instead of 2, big rear wings in order to be able to put big wheels on it. For the rest, it's the same thing with a 4.7-litre engine, the same gearbox and transmission, developing 465 horsepower at 7,300 revs per minute. No more than that, otherwise everything breaks. It's quite heavy, at about 1,090 kilos. I've got Avon CR6ZZ, that's tyres you'd use on the road. It's a heavy car that you need to get braking well. That's not a strength of this car, as the cooling's not good in the GT40. And there are very quickly vibrations at the wheel, as you will see on the video. The discs get used up and bent out of shape quickly, and it becomes uncomfortable to drive, so the lines we take aren't as clean. Well, we can see that straight away because we had the chance to do an onboard lap of Magny-Cours in your company, and one that you commentated for us.
Circuit de Nevers-Magny-Cours en compagnie d'Alain Bazard, c'est tout de suite.
Ok, là on est à la chicane.
It's the last chicane. We leave it in second. Get onto the curb on the outside. All the way on, straight up the pits. 2, 3, 4, then flat out.
Un coup de frein à
l'entrée. Bit of braking on the entrance. We want to get up onto the curb without going too wide. And we cut across towards the inside, trying to keep the car as far over to the right of the track as possible.
À droite.
It's not easy because the car has the tendency to come wide out of corners. We go through the gears up to the end of the long straight. And it's here that we reach speeds of more or less 240 kilometers per hour. Then heavy braking. That's not easy. And the hairpin in second. Then back through the gears. Here, we keep to the left. More heavy braking on the entrance. We cut straight onto the curb in order to dart across to the inside and come out wide, hugging the exterior of the track in order to brake hard right as late as possible. Here as well, the car tends to come out a bit at the back end. We accelerate again, and we don't want the car to slow down. Up towards the Nürburgring chicane now. A lot of braking here, but then we need to get back on the accelerator very early so that the car doesn't move around at the back end. Then there's very delicate braking through the Château d'Eau. It's not easy to come out of it well. Then up through the gears, trying to hug the left side as much as possible so that we're nice and straight for braking into the Lycée. Otherwise, we're off balance. We cut the first chicane, which is quite slow. Then another chicane, into it in second, out in second too. Then the pit lane straight. 2, 3, 4, flat out. On the menu for Alain Bazard and the 13 other beautiful vintage cars entered here are 2 one-hour races. Yann Le Calvez with his Elva Mark 8 from 65 wins the first one in the scratch, and of course in the prototype category in GTS Bernard Moreau and his Porsche 911 RSR 1974 win at the end in front of Alain Bazard. The GT40 driver gets his revenge in race 2, winning the category and scoring second in scratch behind the Lucchini SP91 Evo of Lionel Robert and Olivier Huez. Back to the modern cars and the blue-ribboned race of the 6th meeting of 2016. The Endurance Proto C ends with a 6-hour race, with half of it raced at night on the Saturday. A race which saw the Norman number 22 of DB Autosport with the Danilou Peterson Delafosse trio start from pole in front of their teammates in the 21, Bessora and Moncler, accompanied here by Matthias Besch, and we'll come back to that. Overall leaders by 1.5 points, Ferte Iliano Villarino in the Norman number 2 of TFT started from third, just behind their biggest title rivals. When the lights went out, Moncler got the best start and took first from the 22, with the number 2 still a solid third in front of the 8, 40, 32, 42 and 6. Disappointment though for the 85 and the 33 that hit each other on the first go through the Adelaide. That was symbolic of a dramatic first hour, as there was also a coming together between Frederic de Rocha and Vito Rinaldi. That meant the safety car came out for a long time. Another tramp to negotiate for the competitors when they come in for fuel, and the teammates of the Swiss Matthias Besch fall right into it. The Rebellion driver a last-minute call-up and totally into it, delighted to be there.
Je vais aller faire un entraînement en karting.
I was meant to be going karting training, but they offered me the chance to come to Magny-Cours and drive a Norma. Frankly, it's great training. There's a real level in this team and in this championship. It's great to be here and set myself new challenges. We're back to the essence of motorsport, really, with simple cars. 4 wheels and an engine and tight racing. So it's exciting to be involved and come and do a weekend like the one here. Relegated to 12th after a poorly negotiated safety car period, the 21 then becomes more convincing and is 5th after 2 hours. At 1/3 distance, the 22 leads, but is under a minute in front of 2 TFTs, the 2 followed by the 8. But it's the 40 in 6th that seems to be the best placed. They made the most of the safety car in order to do 5 of their 8 obligatory drive-throughs. The Mondelo Zollinger Tuner team seems to have got their strategy right, but that was without counting on the engine giving up at mid-distance. Controlling the drive-throughs remains the most important thing in the VDV, especially when you have 11 to do like the number 22. With such a handicap, the current second-place car in the championship knows they won't be winning. Not that it's a reason for Danilou Peterson and Delafosse to stop fighting. They're in the title shake-up and want to be exemplary.
J'ai un partenariat avec l'ARCEP,
I have a partnership with ARCEP, and that's the Foundation for Research into Multiple Sclerosis. The objective is to make this little-known disease better known. As well as ARCEP, we have the Solidaire en Peloton. That's an ARCEP brand, and the goal is to get ill people to do sport and to prove to them that with sport they can push the limits of their illness. I'm trying to do my little bit as a sportsman and push them to say that all of us are involved in our daily battles. I'm fighting hard for 6 hours in this race, and they battle for their whole lives. The idea is to help them grow wings, motivate them, and give them hope.
Eux se battent au quotidien tout au long de leur vie, et de par ça en fait on essaye quelque part de leur faire pousser des ailes et de leur donner espoir.
So combative are they that they managed to stick on the heels of their great rivals in the 2, who have 8 mandatory drive-throughs but are still solidly leading. Disappointment though for their teammates in TFT. Capillaire, Lacoste, Tétanger in the number 8, they hit problems. Having been 3rd, they're now 6th and 3 laps down on the leaders. Not enough though to deter Inès Tétanger, back here for the 6 hours, renewing with her first love. It's my first race of the season. I'm in ELMS this year, but I spent a few years here and I learned everything in VDV. It's a great series for gentlemen who want to progress and learn. As gentlemen drivers, we can still race with people who've done Le Mans or F1, top drivers, and that's great for learning. I thought it was great to come back here. I've had a really good weekend, and it's made me really happy to be here. The team finishes 8th in the race, and the 2 wins it after a dramatic last hour. After doing all the 11 obligatory stops, the 22 led at the start of the last hour ahead of the 32 of Magny-Cours and the 2 by a few seconds. But 45 minutes from the checkered flag, a mistake at Chateau d'Eau allows Villarino Ferte Iliano to reclaim second spot, and then a short while later the leading position as the 22 has brake problems and has to come into the pits definitively. Villarino, who did the first and last stints in the car, just has to get the car round in order to score a third win of the year to give them a decisive advantage in the title race. Their rivals, the 22, scored only 0.75 points in a race that saw only 11 cars reach the line. We knew that in strategy terms we were far enough ahead, and that putting Ander at the end of the race meant they wouldn't escape us. We'll go to Estoril to fight again, but we're already champions and that's fabulous. If we've already won the title, then we'll go to Estoril and really let it rip. In the end, Villarino Ferte Iliano win from the 32 of Molini-Besançon-Foubert and the 6 of their teammates Bazo Tirion-Caillon, the big winners in prestige, ahead of the Palmia number 42 Kubrick, Wolf and Beck, who finish off the podium in the scratch. Worth noting, the way the number 21 climbed through the field. Matthias Besch was the speedster throughout. They finished in a wonderful 5th despite a few problems in the middle of the race. The other highlight of the 6th meeting of the year was the GT3 and LMP3 PFV with a 4-hour race, and on the starting grid on pole was the Ginetta 57 of Simpson Motorsport. Third on the grid, but on pole in the LMP3 for the Duquesne number 36. In GTs, in the absence of the Ferrari number 1 of Team Visium, which set the pole time but got stuck in the pits with an ABS problem, is the Viper number 70, which starts first in the category. When the lights go out, the Ferrari number 1 leaves from the pits behind the peloton, and the number 57 manages to hold on to the lead in front of the 52 and the 55. Further back, the 50 collides with the 75 under braking at Adelaide, and that sparked a chain reaction, making this a race to forget for the 888, the 96 and the 31, and then came a long safety car period. The Porsche of Team Almiras is exceptionally well run, and alongside Gerard Tremblay are old factory drivers. It's time for Comme Ledogar and Manchi Jaminet to feel young and immerse themselves in endurance. It's a family-type team, and that's our culture. I drove for Martinet Almiras, then the Almiras brothers. We get everyone together and we share the experience. We're pushing the car and giving it our all, but we're also enjoying it. I had the chance to do it last year as well, and I can say we learned from it, because this is endurance and you need to learn the culture. That helps. For me, that's really the case. I have very limited endurance experience. It's what I'm aiming towards, maybe for next year. It's great to have this opportunity to learn without pressure and with a top teammate like Com, so it's really good. When the safety car moves away, the Ginetta of Simpson Motorsport resumes its dominance, even if because of the obligatory drive-thrus it's the LMP3 of the Ligier 14 that leads after an hour of racing in front of 2 British PFVs. A great start too for the Porsche 76 of Narat Cornac, of course leading in the HT, and on the heels of the Protos with a 5th overall. They're just ahead of the LMP3 team of Team Banis Barthez competition, special guests at Magny-Cours who could soon become VDV regulars.
We've
had some info on VDV. It's true that it's a good series. As with an LMP3, you can fight it out overall. We like LMS because we can win overall in P2, and here it's the same in P3. So of course they're great series. The idea is wonderful. The atmosphere is great, it's very competitive, very well organised. I think that for next year there'll be a discussion with all our associates in order to try to get a car into VDV. I think it's a great way to get youngsters to learn and to get amateurs involved in racing conditions. It's really super, and we're happy to be here. We've seen how well organised it is, and we want to do it again. And the first attempt is going pretty well for the French team. 5th in LMP3 at mid-race, but already having done the mandatory drive-thrus. The LMP3 number 20 still has that to do. It's entered by GPC Motorsport, run by Ivan Muller Racing. and after 2 hours of racing it leads from the GT52 and the LMP3. A good surprise for the 4-time WTCC champion, who has come here to test the waters before perhaps a fuller programme.
Il y a un petit peu de ça en
There's
fait.
a bit
Toute
of
la
that.
saison,
We did the whole
championnat de l'ELMS, mais
ELMS
on
season,
cherche
but
aussi
we're also
un
looking for an
programme
annex programme.
2017,
In 2017, the main aim is to get 1 or 2 cars in the ELMS, but at the same time, I've young drivers who would like to get going in LMP3s, but perhaps don't yet have the level of the ELMS, so the VDV could be a good alternative. That's the advantage of this championship. It allows drivers of a lower level to get results. Here we have a pro driver with a gentleman driver, and the two have to work together for the win.
Là dans la voiture, on a un pilote pro, on a un pilote gentleman, et le cumul des deux pilotes peut jouer la gagne.
Unfortunately, fate would decide otherwise, as the 20 had to give up the ghost 30 minutes from the end with an engine problem when it was running 5th in the scratch in the standings, led at the start of the final hour by the GT57. The Ginetta still threatened by the number 13 of the poles of Inter-Europol competition, set up well though for another class win. Meanwhile, in the GTs, it's hard to say who will take the final honours in between the Viper 70 and the Lamborghini Huracan GT3 of the Italians Babini and Busnelli, here in the VDV for some hard but fair racing. With the project of doing Le Mans in 2 years, and I think the VDV is very good training for that. It's great to relearn how to use prototypes on the track to overtake and be overtaken. Here, the LMP3s aren't too nasty with the GTs on the track, and so we can race without taking too many risks. We've never had any problems, and it's really a very fair race. And for our current level, that is perfect.
On arrive à courir sans vraiment risquer trop. On n'a jamais eu de problème, donc c'est vraiment une course faite dans une façon correcte, disons de le niveau que c'est parfait.
Even more so when there's a win at the end of it, as is the case for the Italian team with the Viper 70 letting them through by coming in for the final drive-through a few minutes from the end. A great third place for Eric van der Viva and Tiziano Carugatti, who put in a quietly effective race. Despite a difficult race, Pani Bouvet-Terrier in the Ferrari number 1 still managed to clinch the title. Yeah, we were a bit disappointed because we'd had the good habit of being on the podium and generally on the top step. Here we've seen our comrades on the podium looking up to the sky. But the sky served us today, as we had a few misadventures out on the track and a few small collisions. For a while we thought our race was totally compromised, but we never gave up, and in the end the result was there, a 7th place and the championship win. Satisfaction too for the 57, Mr. Ginetta, Lawrence Tomlinson and Michael Simpson, victorious at the end of a perfectly mastered strategic race in which their pace was good. They were ahead of the winners of the LMP3, Martin Hipper and Jakub Smichkowski on the podium. 4th consecutive win for them. 2 teams have put in gaps in their respective categories and are now big favourites going to Estoril. That's it for the 6th meeting of 2016 of the VDV Endurance Series. While waiting for Estoril, we'll talk about the 2017 calendar, which was unveiled this weekend, still with 7 dates on the programme, but 3 big changes. Isn't that right, Eric? Yes, the first big change is that after our traditional Barcelona opener in March, we'll head to a new circuit which has just been resurfaced. It's Portimao in Portugal. The second change is that we'll return to Dijon. They've finished the works there, so we're heading back to Dijon. It's a beautiful circuit, undoubtedly the one the French prefer at the moment. And finally, we're heading to Jarama, which had been shut for 7 years. Jarama, an F1 circuit north of Madrid, a magical circuit. It's going to be great. And all of that gives us the desire to already be in 2017. But before that, we have to finish off 2016, and that will be in Portugal for the grand finale of the season. Rendezvous in a month. Until then, keep well, stay loyal to MotorsTV, and be careful on the road. Bye, everyone.